Hi, by popular request I'm going to go ahead and do the winterization video for the Tada. It's 34 degrees outside where we live right now, so I'm a little behind on this. I should have done it already. But without further ado, we're going to start inside the camper. So I'm going to show you all the things that I do in my camper to make sure that it's ready for the winter time. First off, we'll start with the water heater down here. So I've already lifted this panel that we probably all know about, and I want to isolate the water heater because I don't want any of that pink winterization antifreeze inside the tank of the water heater because it will smell it up and it'll get real gross. So to isolate the water heater, we just turn these knobs here, this one here and that one there. That's the inlet and outlet of cold water in, hot water out. And when you do that, you need to bypass it so that water can still get through your system so that you can suck the antifreeze through your main lines. So you must also open this line here so water can come in from your reservoir and then up through here. And these little sections here will take care of themselves when we empty the water heater in a moment. So that's what we do inside for the water heater, so that's pretty well done there. Over here, I take down our television. We've added a different television in here. It's like an LCD, LED combo TV, and I don't like it to sit out in the cold all winter, so I'll be taking that down. And two more things that we do for the winter is I put on this little aerator. You guys might have a different kind. This is just like a sprayer sort of aerator, and I don't leave that on through the winter. It's got a rubber seal in it, and I don't want that seal to get all compressed and shrinky. Also, it's not fantastic to run that antifreeze through because there's all kinds of tiny little holes down inside this thing, and that antifreeze acts kind of like a little soap almost, and it gets real foamy and gross. So I always take the aerator off of the tip of my faucet. And then in the bathroom, I never leave the shower hose on because I don't want to run antifreeze through it either. So I just take this hose off just like that, and then when we start running antifreeze through the lines, I just barely crack these open to let some antifreeze up through here to make sure that we do have antifreeze running all the way through the valve system here. So yeah, disconnect your shower, take off your aerator, and bypass your water heater. And I think that's about it for the inside of the camper. Now we're outside of the camper, and we're going to start with the water heater here. And I've already shown you a video on how to drain your water heater and bypass it and all that stuff. So I'm not going to really explain everything again, but you can just kind of watch as I do it. I'm not sure how full this is, so it won't come out very fast at first, but okay. And then see how it's glugging out like that? Again, it's just blah, blah, blah. Up here, if you open this, it allows air into the system because we bypassed it on the inside, and now it's a steady stream. So you just lift this little lever here. Never put antifreeze into a water heater tank. It has the potential to cause bad odors and bad tastes, so I just drain it, let it drain completely, and then put the plug back in, and that's it. Now we're going to actually start to put the antifreeze into our freshwater tank. This is the way I do it. I just put antifreeze into the freshwater tank, and I allow the pump to draw the antifreeze through the system. So the easiest way that I've found to get the antifreeze into the freshwater tank is by using two things. One being this little device, which you can purchase at any RV shop or even at camp stores. They'll have this. What it is, it connects to the male end of a garden hose, and it just has this vinyl tube that just, you jam that into your freshwater inlet, and it just makes a lot less of a mess when you're filling your freshwater tank. And so I basically take this apart from here Okay, this part just comes out of there, and then I jam this part onto the end of a funnel, just like this, and that's the easiest way I've found to get antifreeze into the freshwater tank with as little mess as possible. We're going to start filling the freshwater tank. I'm just going to put in 2 gallons here. That should be sufficient to draw plenty of antifreeze through the system and also leave just a little bit in the bottom of the tank. And so here at your city water and freshwater connection, we're going to take, oh, that just broke. We're going to take that off and then jam in our makeshift funnel here. Okay. And then just start pouring it in there. One down, one to go.
Yeah, that's what it is.
For anyone who has never used the freshwater tank before, there's something important you do need to know before you pour antifreeze into it, is that there's a valve in your cargo compartment underneath, inside, let me see, right around underneath in here. That's your freshwater tank right there, and there is a valve in there, and if that's open, you'll just dump all your antifreeze out on the ground. So this is your valve here, and you can even see the level of antifreeze that I've got in here, okay? This is your valve. If I open that right now, we'd be pouring out all of our antifreeze. So I'm not gonna do that, but this just goes down through the floor of the Tada and underneath. Might be able to even see it if I go under here. And there it is. It just stubs right out through the floor there, and so that's your drain, okay? Now, also in here is the draw hose for your pump. So this is where it sucks the antifreeze through the line to go to the rest of your camper. So that's what's under here. That's how your freshwater tank works. I went ahead and turned on my switch, my pump over here, and you could hear it prime up. You know, it makes a rumbly noise and then it stops. So that's on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and open up the faucet here, and it's probably going to sputter and make all kinds of weird noise. And there's the pink stuff. Okay, so there's that. Now on the hot water side, we need to bleed that line as well, even though we bypassed the water heater. Okay, so we have pink coming out of both sides, so we know that both lines are filled with antifreeze. So now the shower, and this is, it might be a mess. We might squirt up into the ceiling or whatever, but I'm going to try to open these lines just enough to purge the air and get the antifreeze through the line here. So
Mom. Mom, just go over because I need to cover my new feet.
there's the pink stuff. So you can see it's important to do because there still was a certain amount of clear water in there that would have frozen. And I mean, I guess you could do this with this hose still attached and get it through this line here, but I mean, this is fine. Okay, so there's that side, and then we'll do the other side as well. So now we're going to empty the drain system of the mixture of clear clear water and antifreeze so that we can pour straight antifreeze into our traps inside the camper. So, just undo this guy here.
Is it pink or is it white?
That was mostly clear. They do make some of this RV antifreeze that's concentrated, so that it wouldn't matter if you mixed it with a little bit of water. But I just buy the ready-to-use already. It's sort of diluted, but yeah, however you want to do it is fine. But make sure you know what you're buying. If it's already diluted, you don't want to let it mix with any water because it won't be effective. If I would have left that in there, it would freeze. Okay, the water heater is also, during this whole process, I've just been letting it trickle out, so it's done, and we'll go ahead and put the plug back in there. And I'm not really worried about putting the Teflon tape on, of course, because we're not putting any water in it. I just want to make sure that this is in there tight enough and secure enough that it's not going to jiggle out during travel. And then I'm also going to make sure that this is closed. And that's it. For the toilet compartment here, I always just take out the tank and I keep it in my basement. So that part you don't really have to worry about. I clean it out really well and just make sure to store it properly. I kind of put some, they recommend that you put like vegetable oil on the rubber seals and stuff in there, and I might do a video on that later. But for the holding tank for your flush water, all you have to do, this little fill tube here that lets you know how full your tank is, you just kind of pull this out and just let it drain. This here, this right here is the lowest part in the tank, so it will drain out completely. And any little bit that's left in there that might freeze is just, it's not going to harm anything because it's not going to expand so much that it cracks your tank or anything like that. So just make sure that this tube comes out and you get a nice good drain on it. And that's it for the toilet tank. So now this is the final step in winterization, at least for me. I just bring in some of this undiluted, and we're just going to pour it down the drains enough to fill the traps. So and that's probably overkill, but. And then in here in the floor drain, do the same thing. And that should do it. Just wanted to make sure that we got plenty of good antifreeze into the traps, and that should be it. Any questions, then just message me on Facebook.